Hello, today is May 20th, 2015, and it's a Wednesday, and the time is 1700 hours 58 minutes Pacific Daylight Time. Now, in my many travels throughout America and Canada, I have heard many different accents, and some of the accents most close to my heart are Southern accents, and I'll attempt to recreate a Southern accent. You can judge for yourselves how accurate it may be. Just pulling up in a gas station somewhere in the South. Hey, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm fine, thank you very kindly. Could you please fill the tank with premium? Well, I'd be more than happy to do that, sir. Hey, sounds like you're from England. Yes, of course. I'm just driving around and, visiting places in America, mostly rural and small towns. Well, now, I think that's real good because that way you can get in touch with the real Americans, at least with, like you said, rural and small town America. Plus, when you stay out of big cities, you avoid big city crime. So, how long you been here, sir? Well, this is my third trip here, but this time I've been here just slightly under 3 months. Oh, that's interesting. Most people don't take vacations around here quite that long. But have you been to Tidewater, Virginia? Of course, you're talking about the Norfolk, Portsmouth, Newport News area. Yes, sir, that's right. Although there's a different different definition of Tidewater, referring to the eastern seaboard. It's a land feature. And it's the land most close to the water until you get to the fall line. And above the fall line, as you may know, the tides don't reach. But yeah, that area of that urban area of southeastern Virginia is called Tidewater. Although it's for a long time it's been called Hampton Roads also. Yes, and the word roads in this sense refers to the waterways or routes through the states, Chesapeake Bay, James River, York River, and so forth. That's absolutely right, sir. You sure know what you're doing. Well, thank you very much indeed. And I must be going now, but I must say I do enjoy the Southern hospitality. Well, that makes me happy. I was in England once myself. Oh, you were? Where were you? Well, I was at the University of Oxford studying theoretical physics. Oh, that's very interesting indeed. Well, thank you very much indeed for your help. I must fly. All the best. Okay, y'all come back real soon. And so that's my Southern accent. I also visited Pennsylvania Dutch country in southeastern Pennsylvania, specifically, I should say mostly Berks, Lancaster, and Lebanon counties. And this is the accent I often heard there. Well, now, we're very happy to have you here, mister. And we're Pennsylvania Dutch, but we don't have much to do with Holland. Our ancestors came from primarily southwestern Germany, Switzerland, and northeastern France, which used to be part of Germany many, many years ago. Now, I'm from the town of Kutztown, and the dialect has pretty much died out, except for a few thousand old people and young people who have kept it up mostly on the farms and in small towns. But as far As recently as the 1970s, you could hear Pennsylvania Dutch on the street, basically, in any small town in Pennsylvania Dutch country. Now, when you look at the map once, why? Pennsylvania Dutch country doesn't look that big, but it's about, you could drive for an hour at 70 miles an hour from the eastern edges of Pennsylvania Dutch country to the western side. And so it's a lot bigger than most people think. So how long have you been coming here? Well, I'm very interested in the dialect spoken mostly by the Amish, but I also understand that non-Anabaptists also spoke it until very recently. Well, that's absolutely true. My grandparents were native speakers of Pennsylvania Dutch, and the linguists like to call it Pennsylvania German, but we always call it Pennsylvania Dutch, or just Dutch in English. And in the dialect, why? We say Deutsch, Deutsches. Could you give me some basic vocabulary? How would you say, for example, how are you today in Pennsylvania Dutch? How are you today? Well, in Dutch that would be, wie bist du halt? Well, thank you very much indeed. And now moving on to continental accents. I'll just drift from one to another. I'm sure you'll recognize them. One of the most important things to realize about England and their French friends is the fact that there has been a lot of French words come into the English language, and but as you go east through France, when you get to Lothringen, when you get to Alsace, when you get to Lorraine, you start seeing evidence of German culture. And by the time you get to Alsace, there's lots of things that will remind you strongly of Southwestern German, that is Alemannisch Kultur. Now, me personally, I am from, but in Germany now, as you are continuing into German part of Switzerland, this is the way they talk in Switzerland. Although all of the German Swiss dialects are what they call Alemannisch or Höchstdeutsch or highest German. Their pronunciation is different. They talk kind of sing-songy. For example, I will give you an example in German. We would say on a news broadcast on the radio that I heard years ago. Es ist 21 Uhr, hier ist die Deutsche Welle mit Nachrichten. Berlin. Now, to say the exact same thing with a Swiss accent would be, es ist 21 Uhr, hier ist die Deutsche Welle, jetzt hören Sie Nachrichten. Yeah, so it is a sing-songy kind of accent, yeah? And then now let's go east of Berlin on our little travel, cerebral travel in our cup, and we cross the Polish border and take a look. I don't speak English, but I don't speak German, but I can't get my Polish accent. Take a look. I am from Poland. I love America. I have many friends in America. Okay, it took me a little while to lose the German accent and get into Polish. I really cannot as yet differentiate between Polish White Russian, and by the way, I refuse to say Belarus. In German, they always ever said Weißrussland or White Russia, and in English they said White Russia until quite recently. So I don't know why these days we say Belarus instead of White Russia. It probably had some uber politically correct people are uncomfortable with the word white. In any event, I call White Russia because I've never been any further east than Vienna. But I am looking forward to visiting the lands of the Slavic language, and especially Russia. But until I do that, I must rely on how I heard people talk in America or Canada, Russian, when they speak with English with Russian accent. And now that sometimes I get so relaxed, it's easier for me to talk with, oh, that was wrong, it's easier to me to talk with the Italian accent, because they're so laid back in the south of Italy in comparison with our northern friends in Germany. But now, to do a Greek accent, you know, I've never been to Greece. I'm embarrassed to admit, but no, that's just about it. Getting back to the American accents, let's travel briefly to New York City. We'll go to the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, and I'm standing in front of a deli, and I'm asking directions. Hello, could you tell me how to get to such and such a deli? Oh, you're from England? One of the most important things for you to remember about New York is it's dangerous, don't come. No, but if you come here, make sure that you visit our good delis, because the food is very good. And we talk a mile a minute in New York. I could talk a lot faster, but yes, I'm sort of running out of steam, actually. I'm thinking of supper. So I think that's enough. I was inspired by a 10-minute video I just saw on YouTube about the North Carolina accent, Western sort of, well, one chap was from Western North Carolina and the other was from Mount Airy, just not far from the Virginia border. But I like all kinds of different accents, but I most especially fancy the Southern accent. So I shall leave you speaking once again with Southern. Now, we're going to have to leave y'all, but I want to say that may the wind be at your backs, and may the devil not know you're dead till you've been in heaven for 30 minutes. Now, may the good Lord bless you real good. Bye, y'all.